Well, now, I'm making this video at around July of 2024, actually at the tail end of the July of 2024. Basically, we are heading to August, and heading to August, we're talking about 4 months' time. Damn, the 2024 year is down the line. And by the way, guess what? It is not a long time. We came here and we say, hey, Happy New Year, and what have you? We had a lot of goals, resolutions, and what have you. Some of you guys are still on the goal, some of you are off the goal, some of you don't even know where that book you wrote all the resolutions are, and what have you. And let me tell you one secret. I don't know if you have ever seen something that happens in a country. Have you ever heard of something called the country is reading the budget? Thank you. You see that guy who's carrying with a briefcase in Kenya, they do it in a very funny way. The Minister of Finance comes, the funny budget, a briefcase holds like this. I'm going to read the budget. I don't know, this year, for example, and in Kenya right now, we are talking a budget of around 4 trillion or something. I don't know, whatever. Now, the point is this. Well, again, that's in Kenya. That is examples of a country. You go to a company, they usually have what called the financial reviews, and this usually happens. Can it be semi-annually or annually or after every quarter? After every quarter, it means after every 4 months and what have you. So what does that tell you? Is that there's a system that has to be followed. And you as an individual, do you usually have those kind of reviews? You know, where you ask yourself, guess what? Now the 6 months of the year is gone. What have I done? Well, I said myself, for example, when I started this year, by God's grace, that I said we're going to embark ourselves on what we call the 100,000 savings challenge. Basically means that we want to see, is it possible for us to save 100,000 Kenyan shilling? And by the way, I have a group that has a lot of people onto that group, and we are doing good. Okay, now the point is this. If then you are looking forward to saving 100K, obviously after the first half of the month of the year, you ought to have saved at least 50,000 and something of that. So do you do that, what we call the financial catch-up, financial reviews, to check out whether you're still on the track? What areas are you supposed to adjust? What is actually limiting you from achieving that thing? That's what we call the financial reviews, the financial understanding. Where are you heading? Who are you in terms of the finances? Do you say that you're going to check on things we call, I have a weaknesses in terms of how do I manage my finances? I have a problem. I usually have what we call the high impulse buy things. I have a problem when it comes to, do you actually do all those financial reviews and check up and see how are you faring up in terms of the finances? Or you simply out there trying to run it in a very, in a very traditional way? You're just expecting a miracle to happen someday, sometimes, and something of sort. That is not exactly how we do the things. So what we do is that we simply go beyond that and ask ourselves, for the first time, this is my first 6 months of the year, it's actually down the line, I said I'm gonna save an X amount of money. Where am I right now? See, I always tell people like this, yeah, we have different kind of classes of scenario zones, just like a business happens. We shall have what we call the green zone. Are you on the green zone? The green zone here, it means when the things are falling or the things are going exactly as you anticipated. You said you're going to save 100,000. Allow me to use that as an example. Now, right now, as you speak, you're at around 50 Gs or 50K. That base is at the beginning of the second phase of the year. You're at 50K. So that means the goal that you're having, you're on the track. You can be able to achieve it, and it gives you the thrills, give you the motivation to go ahead and achieve it. All right, so that's when we say you're operating on the green zone. The green zone, again, here it can be there's some of the characters that you wanted to shake off that affects your finances. For example, you are an impulse buyer, meaning that you buy things that you didn't even actually plan to buy them, but you just see it, you have the cash, and you go buy it simply because you have the idle cash, or you simply have that character. Sometimes some people even impulse buy with the money that actually been committed. You find somebody has actually committed a certain amount of money to buy, say, or maybe pay school fees, but the person has decided to go buy themselves a nice shoe. So you said, hey, guess what? On this year, I'm going to work on my character. And I told you one thing, there are 3 phases on how you can achieve this. We have what we call the target of 21 days, 61 days, and 91 days. By the time now you clock the 91 days, you already have yourself a character. By the time you're here, you already have yourself a habit, okay? Now, by the time now you clock your 21 days, guess what you have? At least you have sort of a routine. You have a routine. You've actually reprogrammed yourself, and you have a routine. You have the routine, you have the habit, and you have the character. Now, the 91 days, you are talking about the 3 months. The 3 months now, the other 3 months, because we are simply down the 3 months again, 6 months, you already have to program yourself. Are you catching up with all those things? The green zone that you're going to say, you said you're going to do. You said you're gonna get married. Did you get somebody? Are you courting? Are you, and you engaged? Do you have somebody, and what have you? You understand what I'm saying? You say that I'm gonna be so and so after a certain period of time. What did you do, or what do you do as far as that is concerned? For example, I had somebody who told me I would like to be a corporate lady. you know, and I asked her a very random question. Well, what's the time? It's around 2 p.m. I'm not saying like this time. I said at that particular time when we were having a conversation. And I asked her, well, it's around 2 p.m. Since morning until now, what exactly have you done that helps you to make a step towards you being a corporate lady? Zero. You just work with a vision. See, there's a difference between a vision and a goal. You either don't associate yourself with somebody who is in corporate, you don't even work on your language, you have a problem in how you communicate, you don't have a proper good communication skills, the way you present yourself, the way you dress, the way you articulate the things that you watch funny things and whatever. And I'm not saying there is nothing wrong with watching those things. You don't even consume information of people who are already in corporate world. You don't do that. You just work. You can imagine this. You say like, hey, I just want to, be in a marathon, next month because on this 2024 we have our Olympics in Paris, and you're saying, hey, I just want to be in marathon. You've never even done any marathon. You don't train with the marathoners. You don't even do what the marathoners do, and then you just want to be. It won't happen. Things don't just happen. You have to be intentional. And if you're a marathoner, you don't train with the boxers, those people who do you get what I'm saying? So you have to be intentional on the things that you're doing. Do you actually consider yourself, are you on the green zone on the things that you say that you're going to do? And I'm pretty sure most of you guys do not lie to me. Most of you guys are jokers in this life. That's a reality and that's a fact. And that's why we only have 2% of people succeeding in life. You say you're going to do something. Do you know how many people we started them with the YouTube? This YouTube thing? We even had a WhatsApp group where we could actually motivate each other. People could just tell us, hey, this is the idea that I want to post on my, what do you think and what have you. We had a group close to around, I don't know, 150 people or something. You know what? Most of those guys don't even have a YouTube channel. They just disbanded it. Why? Because no views was coming, the consistency was not there, they gave up, they gave up and what have you and all those kind of things. So what you do, you stick around, you trust the process. You have to show up each and every day. You'll never miss the lucky day. That's a reality. You keep on posting those videos until you hit that, the viral video, and then it makes you known out there. That is exactly what you do. Can you imagine this? It took me over 1 year, 1.5 years, 1.4 years to actually accumulate or get my first 1,000 subscribers. I wasn't even paid a dime, but I was just doing that thing continuously and consistently. You can actually, sometimes even some from my friends will tell me, you're so much committed to posting videos, do you think, does it pay you? I had to tell them, yes, it does, just to shake them off of my, but I was getting nothing, that consistency. So are you think that, okay, now I know you're seated there, you're waiting for the new year to come. I don't know, you show us a very thing, oh, happy new year, you achieve things, you proclaim, this is my year, and grab it, I do things. It's okay, you can proclaim it, you can speak to the year. I don't know what those things those things that you guys do. But at the same time, accompany that with actions. Accompany with actions. Now, we have the next zone that we call the yellow zone. The yellow zone, this is simply a zone whereby it's like NGO. It's like an NGO. NGO means nothing going on. Yeah. See, meaning like you're neither here nor there. You don't have debts. You are not progressing. You are eating. Yes, you are not progressing, yet you're not borrowing. You're not in unhealthy debt. You're not investing. You're just somewhere. You're just in a gray zone or gray area or something of sort. You're just somewhere. You get what I'm saying? In yellow zone, this is where most of the people you find they are in terms of the comfort. The comfort. This is where you find most of the people are comfortable. Why? See, I'm paying my rent as supposed to be. I don't have any rent arrears. You know what? My kids are in school. I'm paying their school fees. You know what? I'm not achieving. I'm just dressing. Quite okay. It's not that expensive. Do you have the savings? No, I do not have any savings, but thank God I don't have any debt. And you get what I'm saying. You see, what happens is that at this particular area, this is where you find most of the people tend to dwell. This is an area where you find people, they work from hand to mouth. They're in that rat race and what have you. They're not achieving much. They're just somewhere. you should be very, very keen, cautious, and careful, because this is an area that can actually slip into what we call the red zone. Then we have another zone that is called the red zone. Now, this red zone is where you may wish to be comfortable, you may wish to be enjoying, but you're not enjoying. You're being forced by the circumstances. And if you're not careful, when you're on the yellow zone, you can actually spill back to the red zone, or can spill to the red zone. And this is what happens on the yellow zone, is where most of the people here, we say people are unconscious. People are very unconscious. They're unconscious of the surroundings. They're unconscious of what can actually prosper. And I told you one thing. Go check that video. I said the very first signs of financial conundrum in the future, or financial problem, or however a challenge or something, it is when you do not have a savings. Let's forget about even investment. When you do not have a saving, when you do not have a saving, is that, let's say for example today you don't have that job that you have. Like, can you survive for the next 3 months? Can you survive for the next 4 months without even struggling, without calling people and what have you? Because if you do not have a soft landing, see, the reason why we say you should have what we call the emergency fund, emergency funds of at least 3 to 6 months, is that in case BS happens, you can be able to have a whole half of an year for you to actually strategize. You see, what makes people to get into the depressions and stresses and what have you is when you get fired, you don't have a job and what have you don't have a soft landing. It's obviously a hard landing. Once you have the hard landing, you cannot even cater for the basic things. You know, those are the things that stresses people. You have kids, you haven't paid their school fees. And if you are, then you don't even know where you'll get the next school fees. 2, you're not even eating. And if you are, then you're struggling to put food on the table. 3, you cannot even pay your bills. You cannot pay your electricity. You cannot even pay your water. You cannot even pay your rent. At that particular point, that even cannot even help you to be at a good state of mind for you to figure out where can I actually move? How can I even formulate write another letter to apply for a job and do something. You don't even have the peace to strategize. But when you have that soft landing, that's what helps you. See, we cannot speak the language of investments if you do not have the emergency fund. And let me show you how it goes by. Before you invest, you're supposed to lay the foundation. You're supposed to cater for the basic. You're supposed to, how can I frame this? See, before you think the language of investment, you're supposed to create sort of a buffer zone. Okay? You're supposed to create a layer of protection for yourself. You know, one thing, my rent is catered for just in case a thing happen. My school fees is catered for if I have kids. I've actually catered for my medical health coverage. I've actually catered for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now the moment you make sure that as a normal human being, your recurrent expenditure is catered for the next several years, not really years, brother, but months, now you can take the reap of what? The step of doing what we call the investment. But when you sacrifice all that what you have, put it in an investment, when you do not have that protective layer or that buffer zone, you can actually have yourself a very, very bad time in case something happens. Because basically investments, if you didn't know, let me just tell you, investments is putting aside that money that you can afford to lose it. And of course, investment can have two definitions. One, if you put that money that you can afford to lose. 2, is actually buying a day that you don't have to work. That's what happens when it comes to investment. So basically, those nitty-gritties, you have to understand them before committing any money out there. And when it comes to the red zone, you have to ask yourself, what am I doing? Where am I heading? What am I supposed to do in that kind of a thing? I'm at the beginning of the next phase of the whole year. What do I do? Where do I pick myself from here? I'm waiting to get a new year. What do I need to get right before the new year comes in, so that at least I've actually monitored myself? Some of you guys said, guess what? This year, I'm not gonna commit myself into anything but to just monitor myself. What do I want? Where am I heading? And why am I doing things? If you committed yourself towards that, then you can be able to monitor that. And by the time now the new year is coming, you can be able to say, hey, guess what? I know this. I do not know this. I know this. I'm going to concentrate on this. This is my major problem. This is my major weakness. And I'm going to focus on exactly that. Please always have what we call the financial reviews. If you have a family, somewhere, sit them down and say, hey, you know what, guys, let's have what we call the financial reviews. Where are we progressing? Because things are changing randomly at a very high rate. Inflation is coming up. Where do we want to invest? We say that you have second year, third year or fourth year kind of a goal and what have you. Are we moving and progressing towards that particular goal in a very appropriate way? So those are small things that you need to ask yourself. Don't just move in a way that you think that things gonna fall into place just like anyhowly. Thing does not work that way, has never worked that way. And I said creating wealth is actually intentional. It might seem as if you're not doing anything, All right, just like I told you guys when I started this YouTube channel, you know, people used to think like, hey, I'm joking, not until they saw me maybe on TV or on radio, or they saw me on those social medias accounts out there. They were like, wow, whoa, you are serious. And not until when you're starting up, you find most of the people are not behind you. They not even tell you that, oh, congratulations, you're doing this, you can do it, you can do it. They don't tell you that. They're just there to mock you, telling you how it cannot work. It's like when you start a business, you know. I saw somebody who was actually had a problem of drinking, and the guy at this particular year, he said, you know what, I've done away with the drinking, and I'm telling you, the guy did marvelous. And at the beginning, well, I had a little bit of faith towards the guy, but obviously as a human being, I had some, I don't know, let me just wait for the first 21. If you tell me you're going to do something, I usually wait for the 21 days. When you clock the 21 days, now I can listen to you. But if you tell me I don't want to do this and this, I say, okay, let me see. The day 1, 2, 3, until you hit the 21, 22nd, now I can listen to you. Yeah. Wow, probably you might mean this thing, okay? And his peers was actually laughing at him. Oh, so and so cannot quit drinking. So and so, we know him. He has said these things many times. He always go back to the thing and what have you and what have you. And I said to myself, okay, fine. Let's just see. And I'm telling you, we are on our 7 months now. The dude has never even taken any alcohol, and I'm like, yes. That's the thing. The guy has actually a character. And as we speak right now, the guy doesn't even have those guys who are drinking as their friends, you know. Yeah, it is what it is. So go check it out on the financial aspect of you. Where are you? Have you progressed? Are you making steps? Are you moving towards your goal that you said you're gonna achieve? And if not, then what are the limitations? Are they internal, external factors? And if they are, whatever they are, go check it out and how you can actually adjust yourself so that you can fit that. Anyway, that's good just for speaking. By the way, if you'd like to have a conversation with me, or if you need my booklet, by the way, I have a new book called The Personal Financial Management. And you can get that copy. It's only 300 shillings. That's like $3. Go grab it on the comment section. No, not really comment section, but rather on the description of this specific video. Grab that number, shoot me a call or an email, and you can get the copy. For now, it's a goodbye and see you in the next one.